who's actually going to get the most out of a full-size gas convection oven like this, and who would be better off putting their money into something smaller? If you're running a bakery that needs to push out dozens of loaves every morning, it might feel like a no-brainer. If you're a coffee shop that only needs a couple of trays a day, the same machine could end up eating up space and budget faster than you expect. And for the everyday home chef who dreams of restaurant-grade equipment, the question is whether the price tag really translates into real-world value. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's start with the kind of kitchen where a Blodgett ZEPHAIRE 100G actually shines. This is a single-deck, standard depth unit that runs on a 50,000 BTU gas line. In a commercial setting, that's a sweet spot because the heat recovery is fast enough to keep a steady flow of product moving through the oven without long idle periods. Imagine a bakery that bakes 3 full trays of baguettes, 2 trays of pastries, and a couple of cookie sheets in a single shift. With a gas-fed convection system, the oven reaches the target temperature quickly, and the fans keep the heat evenly distributed, so the first tray isn't cooling down the next one. That consistency is something a lot of small-scale operators rave about, and it's a real practical benefit when you're trying to keep a line moving. Now, the same scenario in a small CAF with limited back-of-house space looks very different. The ZEPHAIRE 100G demands a full-size footprint, a dedicated gas line, and proper ventilation. If you're renting a space that only allows a compact countertop oven, fitting this beast in might require a costly remodel. In that case, the investment isn't just the oven itself, it's the whole infrastructure around it. For a shop that bakes a handful of muffins a day, that overhead can easily outweigh the benefits of a faster recovery time. One of the practical strengths of this Blodgett model is its reputation for reliability. The brand has been a staple in professional kitchens for decades, and the convection fan design is known to maintain a uniform temperature profile across the rack. In practice, that means you can set the oven for a bake, slide a tray in, and expect the same result on the top row as on the bottom. For operations that need repeatable outcomes, think a chain of restaurants that must deliver the same product every location. This predictability reduces waste and keeps quality control tight. On the flip side, the control panel on the ZEPHAIRE 100G is fairly utilitarian. It's not a touchscreen with programmable recipes, and there aren't advanced humidity controls that some high-end ovens boast. If you're looking for a machine that can store multiple custom programs for different doughs, you'll find the interface a bit Spartan. That's not a deal-breaker for many seasoned chefs who are used to manual adjustments, but it does add a learning curve for newer staff who rely on digital prompts. Another point that often gets overlooked is the cost of gas versus electricity in the long run. Gas ovens generally run cheaper per hour, especially in regions where natural gas is abundant and cheap. For a bakery that runs the oven 8 hours a day, the operational savings can add up. However, the initial installation can be a hurdle. You'll need a qualified technician to hook the unit up to a gas line, and you'll have to pass local fire and health inspections. Those steps add both time and expense before you can even start baking. Maintenance is another practical consideration. The Blodgett brand offers a network of service technicians, which is a plus if you ever run into a fan motor issue or a burner that needs cleaning. Still, the oven's interior is large enough that regular cleaning can become a time-consuming task. In a busy kitchen, you'll likely need a dedicated cleaning schedule to keep the chamber free of residue, especially when you're handling sugary pastries that can caramelize on the walls. Skipping that maintenance can lead to uneven heat distribution over time. So, who should walk away from this purchase? If you're a home cook or a small-scale food truck operator, the ZEPHAIRE 100G is probably more oven than you need. The space, installation requirements, and price point don't line up with occasional baking. Even a mid-size restaurant that only needs a few trays a day could find a smaller, electric convection oven to be a more efficient use of floor space and capital. Who should keep it on their shortlist? Any operation that needs to bake large volumes on a regular schedule, especially when that schedule includes a mix of breads, pastries, and perhaps even roasting proteins. Think full-service restaurants with a brunch menu, institutional cafeterias, and of course, dedicated bakeries that rely on consistent output. If you already have a gas line and the room to accommodate a standard depth deck, the ZEPHAIRE 100G can become a workhorse that pays for itself through reduced cooking times and lower per-batch energy costs. Finally, let's talk about price versus perceived value. The upfront cost of a